Hey, welcome back to the Invest Success Podcast. It's Jim Edenfield, Invest Success, my partner, Tim Emery, my friend. We're here today to talk about what's going on in investing, but, we keep hearing about who is Invest Success. We talk about who we are, but we always very briefly talk about what we do, how we do it, why we do it. So, Tim, today, can we just talk about what is Invest Success?
And how we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Invest Success is a year-long mentorship program to teach you how to fix and flip real estate and learn the basics of real estate. And what we believe in is that if you learn how to fix and flip real estate, fix and flip a property, you can really do anything after that in the real estate business. There's so many different ways of real estate investing, okay? We have the traditional fix and flip model that is what we really focus on. But what do you do after that? Because fix and flipping is a job. And don't let anybody tell you, any other guru or anything, tell you that fix and flipping is the easiest thing in the world. It's hard. It's hard to learn how to do this. But once you learn how to do this, then you figure out everything from beyond that. So how do you learn that? Now, what else can you do in real estate? You can do buy and hold properties. So traditional rental properties like a lot of your friends and family's parents did. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. How do you buy properties, get renters in them, have renters pay your mortgage down, let your properties appreciate, and garner cash flow? And then you have commercial. Can you get into apartment buildings and syndications? Can you buy parking lots or laundromats or car washes or strip malls, develop land? Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff. VRBO, Airbnb, there's all kinds of stuff, but all those basics come from where we teach you how to fix and flip. So, Jim, starting with our first class, what do we do and we have 6 classes in a row, and then we repeat those every 3 months. So what do we do in class 1?
Let me add one thing real quick. You said flipping is a job.
Yeah.
It is. You buy a project, you get under control, you work the project, you sell it, and you make money. Guess what? You're going to take that money, usually maybe pocket a little bit, maybe roll it into your next deal, buy, fix, flip, make money. When you quit buying and you quit slinging those hammers, the income stops. So what we teach is take the basics of what we said. And like you said, you could go do anything, but we teach, you learn how to flip it, make some cash, and then take some and start doing some buy and holds, become a landlord where the market will sustain the numbers. But then you get that passive income. And then you go, okay, now I've got all this passive income. I'm going to go and invest in some of these other things. It's even more passive. So, but starting with the fix and flip, the basics, how to evaluate a property, that's all where you start. And you get the basics growing. Our class number 1 is know the numbers. And that's, I probably say 1,000 times a week, you got to know your numbers. You got to know your numbers. It's going to make or break a deal. But we teach you in the first class. We kind of talk about the basics of the whole overall program. We talk about our 10 commandments. John Fisher's, how we got started. He called a late night guru. He went and invested a lot of money, brought it in, and over a while is like, this isn't really Denver centric. I can make this better. He took it and developed the Invest Success class, and we've taken that, and then we've got the John Fisher's 10 commandments, and he talks about don't be greedy, give back, and a lot of different things. We teach that, and that's from his heart, and we're continuing that. And we have the John Fisher's Breakfast Club, which he started over 20 years ago. That same mentality, that same moral. He wanted to help people. He learned all that stuff and brought it together. He started the Breakfast Club just to network. Mm-hmm. Bring like-minded people together. Let's work together and let's make deals together. So that's how we got our start. So we still carry his 10 commandments, but we teach we talk about developing your company. We talked about investor-friendly agents, investor-friendly money people, investor-friendly title companies, and we go into about that. But we talk about, knowing the neighborhoods, finding the right properties, analyzing it, but just get that foundation. And we all we don't warn them, but we tell them, it's going to take you a long way to get where you can really analyze the deal quickly and jump on it. So as soon as you get started, class 1, we talk about get your company set up, get your EIN numbers, get your bank accounts ready. And then we're going to teach you over the course of the next class and a couple of classes of how to get everything in line, but you want to get everything in your foundation set down first. And that's what class number 1 is about, the foundation.
Yeah.
And growing off of that.
Yeah, and finding out, when you are starting to look at properties, what's the right way to figure out what's the prices. Comps always come up. We compare properties to what else is in the neighborhood. You compare apples to apples, likeness to likeness, and you have to learn how to find those right neighborhoods, because that's really one of the important parts of finding a fix and flip or finding any type of holding real estate is what is it going to generate? Is it going to generate cash flow, or is it going to be a good flip? So that first class, we go deep into how to find like properties, and that's really important. Yeah. So class 2, look, we rotate through, and all these classes are held at properties that are in some form of being flipped, okay? Some way, some system, or some state of being flipped. So whether we get them brand new or students just picked it up and this is a new deal and nothing's been done and it's still dirty and stinky and smells like money, or could it be halfway through where you see studs up and you're trying to figure out what we were talking about in the last class that said, okay, we're going to put a bathroom here and add a bathroom here. How do we add value? And then we're going to go through those processes so you get to see these houses. And class 2 is really talking about financing. How do you fund these things? I don't know about you guys, but do you guys have $1 million sitting around? Some of us do, but some of us don't. So are there ways to buy these properties with financing? Can you use other people's money? Can you use hard money? Can you use soft money? What types of projects can you buy? It's really important you learn how money works, because it's not all the same. You can't go to your bank. You can't go to your next door neighbor's bank, the big one with the W and the
big box bank.
Yeah, big box bank. Good. That was good. I was going to say the pony rides and stuff like that. But you can't go to that bank because they don't do fix and flip loans. They'll do a construction loan later on, but they don't know how to do fix and flip loans because you're only looking for a loan for 6 months. So you really got to be aware of able to find money that makes these deals important. And Jim, who's a private money lender, also does that and teaches about that as well.
Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of friends start doing private lending after I've been doing it, and talking about how I started was almost kind of like accident. I was working with IBM. I'd been there a few years. I had a 401k. I won't say a big 401k, but I had a retirement plan. I got laid off, and a lot of us got laid off at one time. But it was like, what am I going to do with this money? We had some friends of ours that was creating this fund called a self-trustee bless you, a self-trustee retirement investment plan, where it's kind of like a self-directed. I have checkbook control. It's like, put your money in there and then loan it out to all these investors you're working with. And I did that. I was getting good returns. And I was lending to my friends, and it worked. And I wasn't charging them, high interest rates. I was charging them still more than I was making in any of the 401k, because IBM, they were managing it. And the only real increase I saw was when they matched and I made my deposit and they matched it. Never all your investment grew, but it started growing when I started lending it out. Right. And people hear hard money. One of our guys joked at the Breakfast Club the other day, like, first time I heard hard money, all I could think of was dirty jokes, It's either that, dirty jokes, or Cousin Guido and Cousin Vinny come to mind. And it's not, and maybe at one time those guys were doing a lot of that, but now you've got reputable companies out there lending money where banks won't lend it. And yes, they charge a little bit more. And they may say, well, you may get a loan for 14%. It's usually a 3 to 6 month loan. So, but if your numbers work in the deal, it's okay. Tim does this thing where he always talks about, if I was going to give you a loan for 50% interest, would you do it? Why would anybody do that, Tim?
Well, if you're going to make $200,000 net profit, would you do the deal? Hell yeah, you would. You're crazy not to. We teach and we say over and over and over, the hard money figure is just a number in the formula. Right.
We have spreadsheets. Other people have spreadsheets and tools. You fill out your ARV, your after repair value, and we go into great detail over the 12-month program, teaching you how to come up with a realistic after repair value. If you get a listing from an agent or a wholesale dealer, ignore their price. You come up with what the value. We teach you how to do that. We teach you how to quickly come up with a rehab cost. We do a Saturday class where it's 2 hours. We teach you how to do that. We walk through the house. But we teach the number is a number, and with all those numbers in there, and you look down at the bottom right-hand corner, or in our case, the top right-hand corner, if that number's black or green, do the deal.
Yep. Yep.
But if it's 2%, 20%, 50%,
Yep.
I'm going to make $50K. I'm going to make $30K. Hey, let's do this. Because guess what? You're not going to do that deal without that money.
Right. So that's class 2. Class 3 is really getting deep into the weeds of trying to find these like properties. So when we look at properties, we're trying to figure out what they are and where to find them. Okay. We find them on the MLS, the multiple listing service. We can find them through wholesalers. We can find them through Facebook. A lot of word of mouth. A lot of properties. Amazing thing. If you guys listen to this, go out tomorrow, walk to Starbucks or get to a Starbucks or someplace that has a few people and listen over, eavesdrop. I know our grandparents told us eavesdropping was bad and blah, blah, blah.
But we're out to make money.
Yeah. But listen, you will hear at least one story about real estate, whether that's, Aunt Sally's house is on the market or cousin Joe is really getting old and they're going to have to move him in an assisted living facility. Those stories, those deals are there. You just have to learn how to recognize those deals, and that's what we teach you. And we teach you how to do that and teach you how to really find the ARV, the after repair value. We keep saying after repair value, all these monikers we have. First time you hear them, you're like, what are you guys talking about?
And they're not ARVs. I heard one guy call them ARVs.
Yeah, they're not ARVs. They are the after repair value, ARV. And that's that third class that we go through how to find this. 2-story houses always comp to 2-story houses. Ranches match with ranches. Tri-levels to tri-levels, bi-levels to bi-levels. You can't mix and match. Don't mix and match, especially at the beginning, okay? Because you're learning how to do this, and we go through that in class 3. Class 4, your favorite part.
Well, it's still on 3.
Oh.
Not just numbers and house to house or kind of, but neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You got to know your neighborhoods. In a couple other episodes, we talked about price value, home values can change 2 blocks drastically. So you got to learn that neighborhood. Learn how to not just look at Google Map and go, there's one. Zoom in a little bit, see if there's any high power lines, see if there's a canal there's a creek, there's a road with double yellow lines. All that can change your values, so know that. And another way is we host 2 happy hours. We host John Fisher's Breakfast Club. It's been going on for 20 years. Why do we do that? To network. You want everybody you want them to know that you are a real estate investor. Your niche is this. I buy ugly houses. I make them pretty. I help distressed homeowners. You want everybody to know that because word gets out. They're your eyes, hands, and feet and ears where you're not going to go. They're going to be in an event and go, Aunt Sally died. Or, Susie and Billy's getting ready to get married. They're looking for a house. And if they hear that and go, well, my buddy Tim, he's selling a house or he buys houses.
Yep.
Our networking, one of our networks, one guy's an appraiser, one of the top appraisers in the area. We were talking to him like, we're looking for a house. We've got 5 projects going on right now, one under contract officially this morning. We've got earnest money in the bank, so we're getting close. But we're looking for more. We've got money in the bank for 2 more deals. And through our network, he was like, I've got a high school friend that's got 200 plus properties. He's selling his portfolio, and we're like, introduce us. Mm-hmm. We want to be on that. We want to look at those 200 plus houses. Yep. But it's all about network. And that didn't cost us anything. We were just working with a guy. We're promoting him. He's promoting us. Network. Mm-hmm. So that's how you find the deals.
Yep. So let's talk about the next step. Probably the most important part of this business. Contractors and knowing how to rehab a house. This is so important, guys. Okay? The second biggest mistake I see out of real estate investors, first one is not finding the correct ARV. The second one is not knowing how to rehab a house and not knowing how to set up a scope of work so that your contractors that you interview and find understand what they're supposed to do, and all the communication is up and up, okay? So we teach you how to write a scope of work and what a scope of work is. A scope of work is a detailed plan of what you're going to do to this house. Okay? If you buy this house and you're going to flip it, you've got to have a detailed scope of work that says exactly what happens. So that contractor knows what he's going to do. Okay? So you walk up to the house and the front yard needs lawn, needs grass. Okay? So that's going to be in there. The flower beds need to be repotted. We need some mulch in the flower beds. The roof is old. All right, we need a new roof. We're going to put all that stuff on there, and we're going to step by step do that. And that's what class 3 and 4, class 4 and 5 deal with, is the construction aspect. The biggest stressor of fix and flipping and of real estate is not working with your contractors and them not understanding what they need to do. Okay? That's where the biggest issues come into play. So we really go into detail on that.
When you finally get it nailed down on how to do your numbers, how to analyze a property quickly, finding it is easy. It really is. After you get the eyes and know how to do it. But the contractor deal, we joke, which is not a joke because I've seen it over and over. Contractors have a shelf life. I always say I relate it to dating. When you first start out, they're going to go extra hard. The guys won't impress the girl. Oh, my gosh, I want to win you over. I'm going to show you I'm the best. So you date for a while, then you start getting serious. Okay, I don't have to put on the A game. I can do the B game now. You get married, and then after a while, you get tired of each other. I can cut corners because I know Tim doesn't look over here. Tim doesn't care about that. I don't have to do that. And then guess what comes up? The divorce stage. Divorces happen. And people, you change. They change. Tim says some of them they're artists at what they do. They can go in and make an ugly house beautiful, but sometimes they don't have the skills, the time, or the system,
sense. The business sense
to run the back office. One of the big things we really tell our students and anybody we talk to is in our scope of work class is 2 phases. One before you close in your negotiating stage and you're working out that scope of work. Then okay, you've closed, now go to work. But either one, you want to interview several contractors, ask for references. Tell me some people you work for a couple of projects ago. Let me see your finished work. But some of the things you want to iron out up front is, do you understand how I work? Mm-hmm. I'm using private money. They pay me a certain way for my draws. How do you want to be paid? We had one instance where the guy walked in. He had a hard money loan. You complete projects in phases or specific. You do the kitchen, you get paid. You do the bathroom, you get paid. Or percentages. He got paid on a certain schedule. The contractor comes and says, I'm going to send you an invoice every Friday, and I want a check every Monday. And our guy, they didn't discuss that up front. They're in the project, and they're like, oh, wait. Luckily, he had resources to fall back on, so he was okay. But other people have gotten into trouble over that. They've had to go back and borrow more money. But you want to negotiate. Talk about as much as you can up front. And, yes, put it in writing. Mm-hmm. And guess what? The pre-phase, I think I want this. I think I want this. You want this. And listen to them. They can give you suggestions. Tim talks a story about where they couldn't figure out what to do with this one kitchen. It was like, it just baffles them. Contractor comes and says, have you thought about doing this and this and this? And like, wow.
Yep.
And we've got a great contractor that twice now we've said, we want to do this. Okay, and then he goes, if you do this, it's cheaper, less work, but it's going to be more value. We're like,
right.
Deal. So What do you do then? If you signed in a contract up front, you do what we call a change order.
Yep.
Put it in writing. Okay, we agreed to change this. And Tim, we spell it out. I'm going to buy X, you're going to buy Y. We want you to do this. But it's such an important subject. We spend 4 hours. 4 hours. 2 classes on working with contractor before and during. A contractor can make or break a deal. And a lot of our students, they have some great contractors. They're just so happy. And then we have contractors that come through that's a little stressful, and they're leaving at the end going, stay away from this guy.
Right.
And I also found, dealing with good players, bad players.
Yep.
Word doesn't get around areas great when you're really great, but if you do something wrong and you cross some people, and when I first started, I'm like, knows. Denver's a huge area.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? In the investing world, it's a small village. Word gets out about the bad players.
Yeah. Yep. So, that's a lot of what we do. And as we're running out of time here, Class 6,
yeah.
Class 6, I know, but we're running out of time. Class 6 is all about what else can you do in this business? Where do you take your skills from those first 5 classes and go, okay, what do I do next? Do I do another flip? Do I buy a Airbnb? Do I go out of state? We're doing a lot of out-of-state investing right now because Colorado's prices are kind of high. But what do you do next, and how do you continue to do your business? How do you continue your system so you can do this over and over again and change your lives? Real estate investing, guys, is about changing your lives, okay? We're sitting here recording this, and I've got to pick up my kids in an hour and a half, and I can go pick up my kids because I'm a real estate investor, all right? This is changing lives. We can go on vacation when we need to. We can go to funerals if we need to. We can do things because we're real estate investors, and that's really the difference.
I just spent 2 weeks in the Philippines managing 5 construction projects in Alabama.
Yeah.
My night was Tim's day, so I would wake up to a list of stuff to do, pull up my laptop, knock it out in a couple hours, and go enjoy the beach. We can do it from anywhere. I can take off a week to go. I can take a month to go off. We were down here all day today. It's like, let's just take a day to sit down and talk and do some podcast stuff. But Class 6 is also, okay, you finish the project. Do you fill it and be a landlord? We talk about how to do that, the ins, the outs, the pros, the cons. Or do you want to flip it and make some money? And we talk about how to sell it in different ways. But through all the classes, I've hit it now. Network.
Yep.
And to help the network part, John Fisher started the John Fisher's Breakfast Club 20-plus years ago. He just wanted to gather a group of people together and talk about real estate investing. I'm looking for a deal. You're an agent. You got deal. Okay, you got money. I need your money. That's what it was all about, and that's what So we continue that breakfast. This is the last one we had. We had 49 people there at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Great discussion. Good breakfast. Good discussion on what's going on in the market each month.
It's always the second Saturday of the month.
And we're hearing from people that have their finger on the pulse. If you're relying on the newspaper and what you're seeing on the web, that's usually 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month old. Because they've heard us talking about it. Now they're going reporting in it. But when on the Breakfast Club, it's what's going on today. And then if you're getting up early, I say 5, Tim says 6, to be there for 7 o'clock breakfast, if that's too tough for you, we host 2 happy hours. We host the happy hour in Blue Moon in Rhino, first Wednesday of the month, and the third Wednesday we host a happy hour down south in the Tech Center in Inglewood area. So we've got a lot of options, and I own Realty Investors Group, RIG. We meet up north in Westminster. Get out there and network, because it's not just about going – and and I always say this too, if it's in a class that has a topic that they speak on each month, an education piece, even if it's a subject you're not interested in, go and network and meet people and shake hands and go, this is what I do, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I have to offer, and you'll make deals. Every month Tim goes, how many people in here last month made a deal with somebody in the room? And hands go up, and that's what it's all about: networking, making money together, and learning together.
Yeah.
In our coaching program, 12 months. If you've done a little bit of investing and you want to come in and say, I just need a little bit of the coaching, a little bit of mentorship, a little just the guidance. We've got a 90-day program. We've had one guy that had already done 6 flips. He'd invested a lot of money in a lot of programs. He come joined our program. We're like, why are you here? Because I'm here for the guidance, the education. Well, not so much the education, just the guidance.
All right. As we wrap this up, because you can talk forever.
I could. I love this.
I know you talk forever. So as we wrap this up, if you're interested in more information, check out our website, invest-success.com. It will be down in the comments area. Give us a call. We're more than happy to talk to you. We have a first class free. Come find out what that is about. Come for the year-long mentorship program. You'll never forget it. You will learn a lot. You will become successful like the majority of our students have, and we'll show you how to do this. So invest-success.com. Jim, thank you very much.
Look, I got to do my plug. You've listened to the end.
Yep.
One of our 10 commandments is give back, and Tim and I are not all about throat cutthroat thirsty about making money. If you've listened to the end of this and it's like, wow, that sounds like an interesting program, come check out a first class free. But if you want to get in, just say, Jim, Tim, I want to save $2,000 because I listened to your podcast, and we'll give you a $2,000 discount on the 12-month program. So
Yep.
hope to see you soon at an event.
And go out and do a deal.